think Bobby Bland, you consider Bobby Bland soul, or do you consider him blues?
Oh, no, he's blues. Yeah, definitely.
And then we went up to the house and we had to stand in line probably about
Hey, I can eat.
Had Mike been on that before? You didn't mind going again.
Gotcha. Okay.
It won't be over 50 bucks
I tell you, it won't.
$50 per person.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, call it.
Oh, not cheese, that.
One. Everybody look right here.
2, 3.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
All right, stay there. Joe, stay there, stay there. I didn't get mine.
Was the flash on?
Okay, let's go.
That's not good.
Okay, who else's camera do I have to
I
have?
guess from this side too.
Is that it?
We'll do without that. Wait, one more. One without that. Minor.
Boys, get out of the way.
1, 2.
Okay.
It's a wrap.
Okay, look right here.
Okay, big smile.
Okay. Stay there. I'm going to...
I see you. Smile.
Okay. Stay right there. Okay, Jean.
No, I'm not ready. Okay.
Okay.
All right, now what?
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Now we're going to have...
This way. Look,
Okay, come on in.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look in this direction. Right here. Look here, everybody. Ashlyn, look. Right here. This direction. Here you go. This camera.
This one, that one, the other one.
Okay, come here, baby. Wonderful. Okay, that's it. That's done. Excellent. Wait a minute, you had your head.
Hold on now.
Head down. Look this way. Look this way.
Wow.
1, 2, wait a minute, somebody's in the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Right here. Yeah, love it. Yay. Okay. Don't move. Okay. So look this way.
Okay.
1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on.
All right, hold on there. No, more.
More.
Get him a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, you turn in Chinese, right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Here, do one for me when it's the Highlands. Okay. Yeah, we need all Highlands.
All the Highlands.
His name is Highland.
All the Highlands.
Highland. And you're the Queen Highland. All the Highlands. All the Highlands.
Well, where's the other Hyla? Oh, okay.
Oh, when are we going to have it? Pretty soon. We got a couple of pictures and you're going to Lloyd. There's a special picture for all the Lloyd blanks and the blank Lloyd.
All the Hylas. Okay.
All the Highlands.
No, that's not all the Highlands. That can't be all the Highlands.
Changing his name.
The little Highland belongs to the big Highland? No, this belongs to Mary Weeks.
Josh, come out of the way.
Not more historical.
Are you ready?
Actually, I want y'all to stand all the way up. Because I've got chairs in the way.
Get all the
Lloyds, all the Lloyds,
Let's get a chicken.
all the Lloyds, all the Lloyds. I didn't get the high.
All the boys.
All the Lloyds.
Chattanooga choo-choo.
Huh? Okay. You can be a Lloyd. Get over Okay. Eloise, you got a Lloyd?
Yeah.
Okay, where is the one?
He just went to get his shirt.
And Eloise and Skippy. So wait just 1 minute. Okay.
That's all.
Change your name if you want to be in the picture. Change your name if you want to be in the picture. Then we're going to do all the hounds. And now look at Lloyd and Skippy. And stay right here. Stay right here. Okay. One more for me.
Okay, if your name
And
is
here's the guy to put it all together. Hip hip hooray for you, Lloyd. Damn good job done. Well done, well done.
then I'm going swimming.
Yes, that line is down here. Y'all got to get out of the picture.
This is the major minor picture.
All the minors. Okay, here we go.
Minor, look here.
Minor. Look here, buddy. Hey! Jeez.
All right.
All right, that's a good one.
Good job.
Now, hey, Minor, look at here, Minor. Hey, wave to me, buddy. Hey!
Okay, I love it.
All right, yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, good enough.
All right, now I think all of us boys should
Is that another Eloise, huh? How much you willing to pay?
A bunch. Wait a minute, stay still.
Stay still.
I like it.
Who did?
This was right. Yeah, she needs another Sam.
Whole group.
I need an Eloise.
I need a boyfriend first.
That was fun. Oh, that was great. That was a lot of fun.
get a few elbows in her.
We may have them. I put them in the back.
What about the lead?
There can't be any leads. There's just one lead.
When you get close enough, yeah, you press, and then, can you see me in there? Can you see me in the picture?
13 and beaten by a
Huh?
Brian right now is about.
You see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're recording me now. Keep looking at everybody. That's it.
Every year I've never dropped the runway and there's a road.
There you go.
Jennifer, what are you doing?
I'm recording you.
All right.
Can I take another picture?
Okay, where do you want to take? Keep going. You're recording right now, sweetie.
Go bounce.
Yeah. People. That's it.
She needs some help.
I mean, in like a real physical way. She needs
What are you looking? All right. Oh, want to see my picture?
Those people right there.
All right. Huh? You got some people? You videotaping? You're recording right now, honey. Keep looking at it.
No, up in the yard.
That's it. There you go.
I can't afford to buy a new one this week.
That's it.
Two up there.
Okay. Hold on now.
Come on, you guys. Coles and Billy, come on, enjoy
Here we
the
go.
race.
Come on up. Walk up this.
Joshua!
2, 3.
Joshua!
Where's Joshua? Joshua! Okay, press the button.
Get a
Take a
big
picture.
group!
Come on, she wants to take a picture.
Oh, little Google, your hand.
Come on,
Come on, Denise. Come on, Denise.
There we go.
Take off your hat.
Okay, Sammy, go on through.
Come on. There's your hat.
you might be alright.
I know, that's all right. That's all right.
That's not fair.
Gosh, come on, we're just playing.
Go, 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 go.
I know, I see it. Wait a minute, who's the youngest member of this team? Who's the youngest member of this team? Are you the youngest? Yes. How old are you? How old are you? There you go. You won.
It says, no, it says this little thing. What does it say, Dad?
What's it say? Let's see. It says, it says, police minor admitted to killing. Okay. Let's see what we got in here. What's in here? Hmm?
Excuse me.
Hey, look.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
Who does all the woodworking here?
There was a rail right up here, and originally there had been that same porch going down, and so about 10 years or so, we rebuilt this in order to I think the reason it's been taken down is it probably just rotted out, and there was a rail across there and over there. Who is that?
Then,
Boyd, can you tell Jim about the windows? I remember you telling us that how many windows are in the house. And I know you've worked on those.
My memory is there's 69 double sash windows of this sort. In the front part of the house, which is more colonial revival, the windows are all 1/1. And in the back, which is more Victorian, they're 2/2. The columns in front are custom columns, sort of out of the classic revival tradition. In the back, they're all Victorian spindle columns. The house is called by some architectural historians, a transitional house, showing the development between Queen Anne, Victorian, and Edwardian and colonial revival. I told them that the wing over there was built on in 1930. The sunroom and sunroom bar was enclosed and all of that. And at that time, the whole house was painted red. You can only see, and the mortar lines were all scored. You can still see this over here, where it's been protected from the weather. I think they did that in order to not let it be seen where the new brick was. Then it would all look the same, and it's weathered that way now. And I just got the house on the National Register just a couple of months ago.
What did that involve? How much work did that involve? Of just
Writing up
submit documents?
an architectural history of the house and submitting it to the state, and the state staff looks through it and makes recommendations to a politically appointed board. And then if they pass it in the state, it's on the state register, and they send it up to Superior.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people. Now, I'm sorry, Sam, that this room is messed up as it is, but
Well,
that's, this is what we call the drawing room. I can cut some lights on if you want lights on. Next room in doing that,
Okay.
Robert Carter, called King Carter. And he was born in Virginia, 1662, and he became one of the largest landowners and slave owners and everything else like that in Virginia. He was probably certainly the richest man in Virginia, if not the richest man in the country in his day. Had a couple 100,000 acres of land, about 1,000 slaves, and a lot of sterling and current money, as they call it. And he lived on the northern neck of Virginia at a plantation called Cartoman in what is now Lancaster County. Died in 1732. This is his second wife, who was named Betty Landon. She was a young widow. She had been married to a man named Willis. She was born in England and came over, and her husband died, and then Robert Carter married her as a second wife. So all of us are descended from these two, except for Jim. I don't know who you're descended from.
I don't know.
These portraits were copied from originals that hung at Cleve in about 1830. Their great-granddaughter, who's in the next room, lived in Fredericksburg, and she sent Painter down the Rappahannock River on a barge, and he stopped at Cleve and stayed there and copied these. This is, excuse me, back here is Charles Carter. He was perhaps the seventh child, and once again, we're all descended from him. And he built a place called Cleve in King George County, which is also on the northern neck.
okay.
And then behind you is his wife, Ann Bird, daughter of William Byrd II.
Is that B-Y-R-D?
Yeah. They lived at Westover, and he married her on Christmas Day of 1742.
Hey, Patsy says we're ready to go, we're sitting down.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to say goodbye.
1742. And that's their son, child, is Landon Carter of Cleve. The original of this picture shows another child in it, a baby, who was named Caroliana Carter. And I think when they made the copy, they just figured it would be cheaper if the artist didn't have to include her. She wasn't in direct descent from her sister, so she didn't get into the thing.
Okay.
I love that story. I don't know why. I love the idea that somebody got left out in the copy.
These are two nice old maps. This one is the John Smith map. It's one of the oldest maps in this part of the world, and this particular copy was printed in 1632. And you can see it's not oriented like most maps are northwest. The bay actually goes north-south, but it's shown more as east-west. And this is a variant of it done by a man named John Speed in 1676.
Now, John Speed? Now, is that who my oldest brother, John Speed Veal, is named after, I wonder?
I don't know. That's an interesting
Yeah.
thought, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
And over here, that's a piece from Ashland's family.
Okay. Is there any story with these rugs, Lloyd?
They're nice rugs. Ashland bought them all from a woman locally, And I don't know as much about Oriental rugs as she knows, but they are very nice rugs, and this woman is from Virginia, but she goes over to Turkey and Afghanistan and Iraq and really knows how to select them.
Okay.
The next in line on the Carters is this woman who is Lucy Landon Carter.
Okay.
And she is the daughter of the little boy that you saw that Ann Bird was holding. She was blind for the last 26 years of her life, and she died in about 1856, I guess, about 4 years before the Civil War broke out. And she had a lot of children. And there were more Lucy Landons in the next two generations. I think I've counted about 25 daughters and granddaughters of the name Lucy Landon. Of Venice, that were brought back sometime or another by Lewis Willis Minor, probably in the 1840s when he was cruising in the Mediterranean. He was a surgeon in the U.S. Navy until he joined the Confederate Navy. Now,
Say that again for me.
this is General John Minor.
This is
General John Minor. He's called John Minor III. He was at Yorktown for the surrender. He was in the militia as a young man, and he became a prominent lawyer and politician in Fredericksburg. He's one of the only miners who ever became a politician. He became a general, brigadier general in the War of 1812. And he died relatively young, choked on his chicken or steak or something at a dinner in Richmond. And there's a ghost story about it and all of that.
And his relationship to her is
husband and wife.
Husband and wife, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He would be your four greats grandfather.
Okay. Right, okay. All right.
And over here is their son, Lewis Willis Minor, who would be your three greats grandfather. He grew up in Fredericksburg, and when his father died, he and all three of his brothers were sent off to be raised by his mother. Because General Minor didn't trust his wife to educate him. And they eventually moved back to Fredericksburg. They had to sell their house, they got another one. And they were sent off, these brothers were all sent off to Kenyon College in Ohio, in Gambier, Ohio. And they had to walk there in Fredericksburg.
As part of their education, or just to
There
get
was no other way to get there. Well, I'm sure there were places they could take a stagecoach. They could probably get a stagecoach from Fredericksburg to Washington. But then when they went west, they just had to start walking. And it's over 500 miles. And they were late for school almost every day. Then he went to the University of Pennsylvania medical school, whatever they called it at that time, which was the best medical school in the country.
Francis Kinlaw Eugene went to school, where after he came back from Europe, he also studied in Europe. That's where he attempted to rescue Lafayette from the prison at Olmsted.
Yeah.
And then he came back. There's some kind of medallion there, bust of Eugene.
Here is my great-great-grandmother.
Where are you going? Nanan's mother-in-law, Ella Bryan.
Okay.
She was the father of Orlando Gilhinnon. And so she would be your great-great-grandmother.
Okay.
And this is her brother, John Bland. And that's her sister, who was called Nanny Bland.
Okay.
in a blue dress. Your mother used to have that painting, and she gave it to me. It was very nice of her.
Okay.
This is Dr. John Robert Hinton, and he was the husband of Ella Bland. He's in a uniform of a captain in the Confederate Army. He was born about, I guess 1833 and died about 1890. And she lived until 1921 and caused Nana Ann a lot of trouble. From what I can understand of the records.
All right. Now.
This is not a family painting. This is, it came through the family, but that is a son of Emmanuel Lutzy, who was the painter for some of these paintings. And Lewis Willis Mine and his brother John Mine IV patronized him and John Elwood, who painted these later 19th century paintings, and somehow or another they gave him that very nice little portrait. His son.
Okay.
She was Lewis Willis Miner's wife and is your third great grandmother. And her father was a Scotch Indian trader, and her mother was a French Creole. From her mother's side is how you are related to that Indian Catherine Expenuita, who some French Canadians sailing down the Mississippi River stopped, picked her up, brought her down to Mobile, baptized their children. And Catherine, the Indian, Illinois Indian, is your seventh great grandmother, maybe eighth. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
And the daughter Minor, who married William H. White, and she is your great great grandmother. She was born in Norfolk. No, she was born in Hanover County in 1849, and when her father became commandant of the Portsmouth Naval Hospital, they lived in Norfolk and Portsmouth. Then during the war, she went to the Ursuline Convent in New Orleans under the occupation of Beast Butler and the rest of his Yankee band. And then came back to Norfolk after the war and married William Henry White, and she died in childbirth at the age of 28, giving birth to Uncle Landon, who was called Sinner. Yes, that's my understanding. And you can tell her that that's the way the young woman spelled her name.
We're going to go, but I surely enjoyed visiting with everybody and meeting everybody. Well, I haven't seen this picture.
You haven't seen those?
The reproduction of that.
Now, there you're getting all of the portraits you've seen in a couple of extra ones.
Is that
Let's see if I can
is that Mimi or Howard?
That's Highland.
see what, that's too dark like that. Yeah, because it was shooting off there.
Okay. Where's Jean? Oh, I said goodbye. She got
I think everybody was,
you certainly enjoyed your children.
that's right. Thank you. Being here too.
Okay.
Betty Landon Carter, Charles Carter, Ann Bird Carter of Westover, Landon Carter of Cleve is the baby.
Over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the child, the child.
Oh, the child, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Lucy Landon Carter, who married General John Minor,
Okay.
John Minor III, Lewis Willis Minor, Eloise Innerarity, wife of Lewis Willis Minor,
Okay.
Lucy Landon Carter Minor, who married William H. White, is the next one.
Okay.
Eloise Isabella Innerarity White, called Nanan,
Okay.
and her husband, Orlando Gill Hinton.
Alright.
My mother, Ella Hyla Hinton.
Okay.
My father, Lloyd Thomas Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Me, Lloyd Thomas Smith Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Ashlyn Wyatt, who married Lloyd Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Minor Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Diane Claire Auger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another picture of Orlando Gill Hinton up over the door.
Okay.
And over here is Thomas Perkison Bland at the top, and that portrait Skippy lost someplace.
Mm.
That's the only portrait we can't find that's around here, and it was in on Eloise's apartment in the 1980s.
Mm.
And then this is Ella Bland
Mm-hmm.
and Nanny Bland
Mm-hmm.
and Ella Bland. Excuse me, this one probably is the mother, who would be Mary Elizabeth Worsham. But we're not sure whether they're the same people or not.
Okay.
And then John Bland down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then up here you have James Innerarity, who was the father of Eloise over here.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's an old portrait of Lewis Willis Minor.
Right.
And John Innerarity's brother, James Innerarity's brother, John Innerarity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the son, James Innerarity Minor. He died about 9 years old with yellow fever.
Mm. Okay.
And
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
The
This-
portrait is in the original portraits in the courthouse in Northumberland County, Virginia, in Heathsville. And the interesting thing about him, that during the Civil War, he was in a company, the 39th Battalion Virginia Cavalry, and he was a scout. He was with Stonewall Jackson when Jackson was killed at Chancellorsville. And the smoothbore volley that killed Jackson killed his horse.
Hmm.
Same volley of shots.
Wow.
And you like all those coins?
So this is Cleve, then.
The stonework, they're called coins.
Hmm.
Q-U-O-I-N-S.
And is it still there?
No, it burned
That's the one
twice.
that burned down?
Yeah, it burned first around 1800, then it burned completely down in 1921.
Now, is that Robert Carter's home or Charles Carter's?
Charles Carter's
Charles.
son.
Charles. Uh-huh. Now, that's is that the location where you've purchased that property?
No,
Near Cleve?
no, this is much further west on the peninsula.
Oh, okay.
I've been looking around that side, but it was just too darn far from the bay.
Mm-hmm.
Original Lloyd G. Smith.
Mm-hmm. What's it constructed of?
Walnut.
Walnut.
And it's late 18th century, and apparently from that area, the Northern Neck, Northumberland, Lancaster County.
Mm-hmm.
This is called Hyla's Room.
This is called Hyla's Room? Okay.
It was the girls' room, then Ashland moved out and became Hyla's Room. And it's celebrated in that most of the women who are shown and other people around here were decapitated. Here's a nice picture of Nanan over here, if you can get that.
Yeah.
I think that must have been before her marriage. And she was wearing a whalebone corset.
No.
Here is Louis XVI having his head cut off. Here is Hieronymus, and here is John the Baptist having their head cut off. Marie Antoinette is over
A sea monkey?
studio. Mm-hmm.
And you can get some of Ashland's paintings in here if you want them. These are all biblical things from verses of the Psalms that
Mm-hmm.
she does in her abstract way.
This must be Ashland's friends.
Mm-hmm. It's her studio.
I don't know. She can't even get to her easel anymore because the Park Lane Poker Club.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go back through here, through that arched door, you're going into the 1930s edition.
Hmm.
Oh boy, you got some pictures of the house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. No, who's the one that looks sort of like Joe Ulysses S. Grant over there?
That's John.
Hello.
Let me finish making this up.
And he had 6 children, 5 of them died in infancy. He brought all of those back to Petersburg to be buried at Blanford Cemetery.
Oh, my Lord.
And the one who survived, the youngest one, became a lawyer after he was Edward Wilcox Hinton, and became a professor of law at the university.
Yeah, was his son
Yeah, I was just,
and then
Gathering up your
I was just trying.
No, no, they're cousins. They're
This
cousins, and we're not directly descended from them, but you may have heard of this Colonel John Hinton who dealt with Aunt Eloise for a long time on the Hinton genealogy.
yeah.
This would be his great.
This is.
That's William H. White, your great-great-grandfather. He was born in Lower Norfolk County in 1846. He went to VMI and fought at the Battle of Newmarket in the Civil War as a cadet. And then he became a lawyer, went to the University of Virginia, went back to Norfolk and had a very successful legal practice. For many years he was the district attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia under both McKinley and Cleveland. And then in 1907 he became president of the RF&P Railroad and made an awful lot of money and died in 1920.
Can I get back and
I'm taking pictures of you too.
I don't know you want to put my tail in.
Is that? Oh, did I get in your way? Sorry, there's you. Yeah, if you get right at that angle where I was, so you can.
Switching back and forth between digital and 35.
I bought that up in Menemshaw, Maine, or Massachusetts, on Martha's Vineyard. And I just happened to be up there once on a sailing trip, and Ashland came up to join us, and she found this little chair and decided, at that time she didn't have any grandchildren, but decided that she would have grandchildren and wanted to buy it for them.
Front balcony of the house.
You're facing west.
Facing west,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, when Hyla and Ashland became teenagers, they used to like to climb out of their window down there and sunbathe topless. And I used to like to come out here with a camera. It really made them mad.
Yeah, I bet it did. Oh, goodness.
Some taverns, but they just turned my house into a bar. And I caught them one time bringing a whole keg of beer up here. Not a half keg, not a quarter keg, but a full keg of beer. The 3 of them were lugging it up the stairs. I let them do it, but you couldn't do that anymore.
Grace, do it
That was
correctly,
during
honey.
the 70s, early 80s. But in the 90s, you do something like that, you just get in deep trouble.
Hi, Dad. Hey, Dad, look, there's a ladder.
I see it, honey.
What's with the ladder? What do you got?
Want to see how the ladder works?
I'll clean it out.
All right, y'all, let's stop a minute because we want to see how the ladder works.
Oh, how neat! What did I do last? You can get up there then. What did I do last?
There's the ladder.
I got you. Where's your ball? Now you have a ball. All right, keep it in. I'll find it. Maybe we forgot something later. We got Funky.
Well, we climb this ladder, the door in, and climb this ladder.
Yeah, I want to go upstairs and see what it's like.
All right, one of you guys go climb up that ladder.
I will.
Gracie, go climb up there. You guys? Keep on going, Grace. Go up.
I can't, or I'll slip and fall.
All right, well then come back down. I think it's just you climb up there to change the light bulb.
Oh, about 105 years old. How old are you? Yeah.
I went over there and looked at it, Mike, and then he,
You're 14.
you got on the right phone?
House is older than you are.
That must have been something to get that pinball machine up here.
Wasn't too bad. I think it comes apart in 2 or 3 different sections.
And then where does that door go to over there?
This is storage area.
Storage area?
Go back and air handling equipment for the rest of the
Okay.
The light switch is right there behind you.
Flick that on for me. Yeah, there you go. This is a pretty amazing little. Oh, that's just. Hey now.
Next time I don't do it,
She did have it and then she did that.
Okay, now let's see. I'm walking from the dining room and I'm coming in, and now we're at. This is the side porch that was here.
Yes.
And
Lloyd Smith is here fixing himself a drink.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and the side
Now,
room.
all of this was not enclosed until 1930.
Okay.
1930 was when they built this wing, they enclosed this area, they put the swimming pool in the back, and they painted all the woodwork on the inside that I spent close to 30 years stripping.
Oh,
It's a
look.
big year for the house. Well, modernized it. Where are you going to go to next?
Well, let's see. Since we're here, you want to go ahead and
Oh, you
do
haven't done
this?
sunroom.
We'll do the sunroom. Okay.
Good. I don't know if you got through all of it. There was a lot of confusion. but-
I got lost in the genealogy room.
Oh.
If it went further than that,
I have a request. Could I get you to give me a copy of that Lewis Willis Minor Memorial?
We even have the one that's up there.
Well, I didn't want to take the only one. I didn't.
There's several of them.
I'm giving you all back most of the papers that I have today.
Mhm.
When I bought it from Mary Thomas, who had been Mr. Ruckus' housekeeper, she had turned this house into a boarding house.
Mm-hmm.
All the rooms upstairs were rented, and the sunroom was a dormitory for day laborers. And they paid $1 a night. There were 5 cots spread across it. I saw a handwritten for sale sign on the red oak tree out in front one day when I was taking a walk after lunch and decided to come in and look at the house. She wanted $45,000 for the house, which was much more than I could pay at the time. I think I was probably making $500 a month at the time. And I thanked her. She had my name. She called me back a couple of weeks later and said, "Are you interested in this house, Mr. Smith?" And I said, well, I like the house very much, but I just couldn't afford $45,000. And she said, "Well, the prices come down." And she said, "Price is $37,000. So I came by and looked at it again. I hadn't mentioned anything to Ashland about this. And I came by and said, "I could pay $36,000 for this house if you can provide some second mortgage financing." And she said, "How much?" And I said, $7,000 second mortgage financing. I think I can get the rest of it together. And she said, "How about $36,500? And I said, "Okay, if you'll throw in that big bed." She said, "It's a done deal." So the bed came with the house at very low value. And it turns out to be a Prudent Millard bed. It was a very well-known furniture and cabinet maker in New Orleans in the 1870s, 80s, and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen his work. I've got a book on his work. And I found out that this particular bed was brought up from New Orleans by people called Bogart. It's spelled with an E, not like Humphrey Bogart, but Bogart. And they lived around Keswick. He was a real estate agent up here, and sometime they broke up housekeeping and sold it at an auction, and Mary Thomas bought it. And over there you're looking at my, oh, will this light help?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that on the left is Aunt Eloise, the next is Uncle Buddy, the next is Uncle Billy, then there's Nanan, then there's Uncle Bobby, and then there's my mother, Ella Hyla. It looks like she has a dead pigeon on her head.
Is he the seventh great grandfather, Lewis Willis Minor?
No, he's your third great.
Third grade, okay.
Your third great, my second great.
Uh-huh.
This is a little cameo of his father, General John Minor. And this is Cousin Jenny Stickney. She married Cousin Admiral Herman Osmond Stickney. And they were the ones who lived in the Malady house, and Skippy and Graceland and
there.
Well, I just checked there.
And all of the hats that go along with. Is there a story that goes with this?
Oh, I opened that up and made the secret room when I was refinishing all this woodwork, and it just occurred to me while I was doing it, there was a lot of space under there, so I took that panel out and made it a little room for the children when they were playing in. And then it wasn't used.
Okay.
And Mina next to them, and below that Bland and Carter, and then over there Ashland's Wyatt coats of arms. And yeah, they're the four main lines that we've had on. If I have a white coat of arms, maybe we don't have one. Most everything in the kitchen is pretty new. We put in new cabinets. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Opened up the fireplace. The fireplace was bricked up. Put in granite tops.
Mm-hmm. The floor is the original?
Yeah, it was some kind of a asphalt tile when we came
Mm-hmm.
in a few years back. We took it up and had them sand down the old floor.
Hmm.
And there's one thing I haven't told you about this house. The sunroom was occupied by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor
Oh, really?
in around 1952.
Mm-hmm.
She was not even a lawyer at that time, but her husband was a lawyer, and he was going to the Judge Advocate General School up here.
Hmm.
And most of the boarders that Mary Thomas had were JAG students and their wives.
Uh-huh.
We've had a number of them come back over the years, asked if they could look at the house again.
Ah.
A judge from New Orleans came in a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
sent us a lot of pictures that they took at the time. But the O'Connors lived in the sunroom, and if you go going back here,
Mm-hmm.
there was a wall of some sort that went back here that came across. You can see the rug is up. You can see pipe holes. So her kitchen was sort of divided. She had half of these cabinets, and there was a door there that went through to her bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived in the sunroom, and they had a private entrance going out onto the porch.
Huh.
And that was where Justice O'Connor lived.
Hmm.
These are old cabinets, but they were put in at different times. I think these are probably the oldest and original ones, and these must have been put in sometimes later by the Ruckers.
Inner Sanctum, Lloyd Smith's.
Hyla Smith.
Hyla Smith.
Ends your film with that.
Yeah, yeah, okay, let me. Let's. Huh. Okay.
Had nothing to do. It was a Saturday morning. I went down. It's what I mainly use for refinishing wood.
Mm-hmm.
I framed pictures over there. I took locksmith courses at one time. That was over in that little corner.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wine cellar that I have back in that direction you're going. You want to take a picture of my wine cellar?
Sure.
This was all in here. I don't know what they used it for.
Oh, be darn, huh? Wow.
So,
Wonderful wine cellar.
an extra $700,000.
Right.
You've got to tell them what was actually in there.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, this was built about 6 years ago. This was just dirt, and it was
Mhm.
only about 3.5 feet high. And I knew I had the space, and I wanted to have about a workshop. And I got these two contractors that were good friends of mine, young guys, and they were trying to figure out how to dig this out and improve it. They started off by getting an old peanut conveyor